I'm super excited about what's going on. We've got just some amazing things happening in Sisel. Don't you think, Katie?
Yeah, incredible. Super exciting. The call this morning with Tom, the new wealth pack, the new product coming. There's more products coming. There's tours coming for Australia. I mean, this is really the year when things are really hot to trot now.
That's exactly it. Yeah. I mean, they were on the call, and when you say it was in the morning, it was actually here in America. It was just 2 hours ago is when the call started. It was an evening call, and what a fantastic call. A lot of great information. The Sisel Corporate is just on fire. When you talk to anybody there, I mean, they're on fire. They see what's happening, and we're just going to make this thing explode. And you've seen my posts on Facebook. Katie, I don't know what it's like in Australia, but here in the United States, you cannot go to any grocery store, any department store without seeing a magazine. And on the front of the magazine, look younger, feel younger, be younger.
Yeah,
Is it the same thing down there?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, everywhere you go, everywhere you go, TV, you turn the TV on. There's always an ad, how to look younger, how to feel younger.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's a big thing now.
Yeah, and so that means that anti-aging regenerative medicine has finally hit the peak to where no matter where you go, there's somebody talking about it. There's a magazine talking about it. I mean, heck, Katie, Mayo Clinic is getting into anti-aging.
Yep, and Google is investing in it too now, heavily.
Google and Yahoo invested in it about 10 years ago because Yahoo is in cahoots with 23andMe.
That's right. Yep.
It's big. This is big stuff. And so for those of you who are just sitting there and you're kind of dabbling and you're going, well, I kind of like it. Right? Yep. It's time. It's time. So I get super excited about it. And here in less than 3 weeks, I'm going to be jumping on a plane and heading all halfway across the world. Come down and see Katie.
You're excited to get out of the cold weather.
Yeah, it got cold today. It from this morning till this afternoon, our temperature tripled. Wow. Yeah, it went from 0 to 3.
Wow. Yeah, big change. We have big changes here, but with our temperatures.
Yeah. Well, I hope the fires are out by the time I get there. I know a lot of people they're concerned. They're like, Kurt, are you still going? And I'm like, yeah, I'm still going. I'm committed to going. I'm not going to go try and battle the blaze because, like I said to somebody the other day, I said, if my barbecue grill tipped over, I probably couldn't outrun that, much less outrun a bushfire. But, the other thing that I'm going to do is for everybody that brings a guest, I'm going to donate $2 to the Wildlife Fund.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I figure, the country will take care of a lot of you people that, and insurance companies, but koalas and kangaroos don't have insurance policies.
That's right.
So that's why I thought I'll donate there instead.
Okay, sounds great.
Yeah, so for everybody that shows up, I'm going to donate $1. And for every guest that you bring, I'm going to donate $2. So if you show up with 5 guests, that's $11 that I'm going to donate to that fund.
Fantastic.
Right? If there's 100 guests there, that's $200.
Yeah, fantastic.
It adds up. It can add up pretty quick. So
it's great. It's great. We need all the help we can get.
Yeah. So tonight, I really wanted to cover the topic again. Why is it important to have guests? Why do you want to have guests at events? Because, some people, they'll show up by themselves and then they wonder, why aren't I making any money at this? Or they'll show up and they'll say, yeah, I heard about this last time I was here. I heard the same thing last time. Oh yeah, I was on that call last Friday and it was the same as the call, a month ago. What they don't understand is that a lot of the calls, a lot of the events, they're not designed for people like you, Katie. They're not designed for people like me. Yeah. Because we should already be knowing this stuff. We've been involved long enough that we should know where the resources are. We can go on YouTube. If I want to find out about, you know, the H pill, if I want to find out about Super Omega, I can jump on YouTube and I can find 100 videos.
Yeah.
Right. And so the events are to introduce people to kind of the whole realm of what we got. And to be able to cover everything in you know, really in half an hour to 45 minutes, an hour long period of time with testimonials and maybe some questions and answers, you know, there's just no way that you can cover everything. So it has to be kind of an overview of everything. So that's what we're going to do at the event. I'm going to cover an overview of anti-aging and why it's important that you want to get into anti-aging now. You don't want to wait until you're 70 and then all of a sudden say, oh, geez, I guess I should have been doing something. You know, you want to get started now while you're, you know, still 40 years old like Katie. You don't want to wait till you're almost 60 like me. I mean, if I just got started today, I mean, holy cow. But that's what I'm going to be talking about. And then I'm going to be talking about the fact that we've got really this momentum going that everybody's talking about. Harvard Medicine is talking about it. Duke University is involved in anti-aging. Tulane University, where my son goes to college, they're getting involved with it. Just so many different places. Mayo Clinic, like we were just talking about, is getting involved with it. The clinic just up the street says that they have some new anti-aging technology. I don't even know what it is, and they're just up the street from me. They're not announcing what it is. But you start watching all this stuff. Like I was saying earlier, you can't go anywhere without seeing something, a new report on anti-aging. You go to the grocery store, like I said, I mean, there's a magazine cover, look younger, feel younger, all these different things. And so my point to bring that all up is that if you want to get involved with the business, this is the perfect time. You jump in front of the wave and you ride the wave out. You get in front of it. You don't want to wait until the wave goes by and then jump on the backside.
Definitely. Yeah.
The big money's here, in front, not behind. So let's talk a little bit about getting people in events. I have this short video that is it's an event. It's a recording from Eric Worre. Let me bring this down here, and I'll play this. So hang on.
Yeah.
Oh.
You need to share computer audio.
Yeah, I have to share the audio. Yeah, hang on.
I was not able to, I actually failed miserably in motivating my team to come here, for the most part. Okay. So that's something I need to work on, and I recognize that, and I want to know what you recommend for that in terms of motivation. I know that you have to pull people's heads up and, you know, show them the light. Right. And I would like to hear your words of advice on general motivation, bringing to events, and just, you know, in general, what you do.
How do you get people to come to a major event? Major events are so critical, right? How do you get them to do that? I learned I had a little bit of a natural ability to just transfer enthusiasm to somebody and say, let's go together. It's going to be a gas. We're going to have a lot of fun. But in addition to having fun, we're going to learn a bunch of things. We're going to meet some new people. We're going to experience all this stuff. And yes, I understand we can't afford it right now, but so what? Let's go drive there, and we'll share a room, and we'll put 6 different people in the room, and we'll go away from the hotel, and we'll go get food from a grocery store, and we'll bring it into the room, and we'll eat there, so we'll be able to do it cheap, right? So there's a number of things. Your passion, your commitment, your enthusiasm, letting people know that this is an expectation. I never made people feel bad, but I promise you, if I spent 5 minutes talking to people on your team, they'd be here. They would. And that's just working on it, okay? Whatever you did this last time, if you suggest, hey, you should think about maybe coming, no chance. If you got to give people reasons why. Why should they be here? What are the reasons? You know, their future, their meeting new people, excitement, passion, fun, adventure. For me, it was all about adventure. That's what, yeah, I never even thought about it that way. But for me, it was about adventure. I would get together with my friends or people in the group and say, let's go have an adventure. We're going to go to Amsterdam, July 11th and 12th. And we're each going to figure out a way to bring 5 people. We're going to have 50 people there, and we're going to have the flags, and we're going to have the shirts, and everybody's going to know that we arrived. And it doesn't matter if people don't have money. We're going to figure out a way to do it. We'll just solve the problem, however we got to do it, right? So it became an epic journey, right? And we're going to learn stuff, and we're going to come back here, and we're going to own this market, right? So you're getting the passion a little bit. It's not about suggesting. In every conversation, here's the key phrase. In every conversation, someone is selling and someone is buying. In every conversation. So here's what happened when you talk to your group. They sold you on why they couldn't be here, and you bought it from each of them. So I just decided never to buy that from somebody else. I sell it to them. They might make a decision, but I'm not buying their story. They say can't afford it. Hey, I've been there, man. I drove 16 hours to go to an event. I stayed in a hotel down the road, okay? Huh? 2 days from Germany, see? You drive all of this way? I like it. I had no money. I had no ability to do it. So I've done it. I've slept in the bathtub, okay, at some of these events. Back in the early days, promising I'm never going to have that happen to me again. But having fun while we were doing it, eating food on the floor in the hotel, you know, with a group of people, whoever I can bring with me, okay? So somebody's buying and somebody's selling. Stop buying. Start selling.
Well, that was great.
Hang on. I got to shut this off. I can't figure
Gate key.
You know, I like Eric Worre. He's got some great training, doesn't he?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he's certainly done it big.
Have you seen the training? I'm sure you have, where he said that for every person that you have at a destination event, so that would mean like if you go to Malheur Mountain this summer, if you go to one of the big events, like, you know, the bigger events, not the city events, things like that. But if you have people at the destination event, for every person that you have at a destination event, Eric Worre says that equates out to about $1,000 per person per year that you'll earn. Yeah. So the quickest way, if you want to make $100,000 in the next year, get 100 people to go to a destination event. Get them to attend a destination event like that. And so that means like a 2-3 day event, not an event like when I come down to Australia. I mean, that's a pretty small event. It's an hour long. It's an opportunity event, things like that. I mean, we're talking to like one of the conventions. Yeah. And that's
pretty. I was just going to say, it's amazing. Yeah, because the last event that I went to with Tom's previous company, I mean, it was a massive event. I think there was about 5,000 people there at the convention center. And it's like, that's where the magic happens. It's where people make decisions, they recommit, you know, builds their passion. It's an unforgettable experience. You never kind of forget it because it's such a powerful, you know, place to be. And that is what really makes a big difference, I think. So I agree 100% with what you're saying.
Yeah.
What Eric says.
Isn't it nice? Even sometimes if you're kind of on the fence, if you got somebody who's kind of on the fence and they go to an event and they go, oh, wow, it's not just me. I'm not just the only one that's looking at Sisel. There's 500 other people here at this event. Doesn't that make a difference too?
Oh, yeah, completely.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I was watching some training earlier today on Eric Worre, and he was talking about how to get people to events, because that's really important. A lot of people, don't you think, Katie, that a lot of people, what they do is they simply say, hey, Katie, I'm going to have an event this next Friday. It's going to be over here at the Mathlete Flyers Hotel. We got a guest speaker coming in from the States. And would you show up?
It's not very committed.
And that's a lot of people. That's what they do. And they think, oh, Katie said yes. So they just put Katie down on the list that she's going to show up. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure you've found out that really doesn't work very good, does it?
No. Yeah. You need to give the person a reason. You've got to make it relevant to them and bring it back to their why. So I think this is where knowing what somebody's goals are, their goals with their business, is really important, because you can bring that back into the conversation and say, well, remember we talked about, you wanted to be 1-star by this date, to achieve that. This really is a critical element in your journey, to get there. And so you've got to bring it back to them and then bring their why, back. So the more I think you know about someone, the more questions you've asked. And that's why we've covered quite a bit on our training call. Questions are the answers. Alan Pease has got some questions that you can ask someone about their why, and getting right down to the heart of why it's actually important to them and what it means to them. And by knowing that sort of information, then you can really put together a good verbal invitation for someone. And I think you'll be much more likely to have greater success in getting them there.
Yeah, I think that's key, especially when you got somebody who's kind of already sort of committed to it. But if I'm talking to, my neighbor down the street, who really doesn't even know what I do for a living, right? Most of my neighbors don't have a clue what I do for a living. They go, I tell them anti-aging medicine, and I tell them I work with Sisel, and they go, oh, that's nice. And then they go on their merry way. And so if you're going to have somebody, if you're going to invite somebody, if I say, hey, Katie, if I invited you to a major event, it's like, it's going to be really major for here in Fargo. Let's just say you live here, but I know you can't stand the cold, but let's just say that you lived here. And I say, would you show up?
You don't sound, it's not very certain. There's not much certainty. It's sort of like, would you?
But I'm saying if you said yes, if I said it that way and I said, hey, Katie, would you show up? And you say yes. And then now what you got to do is now you got to follow up with that commitment. You got to say, it's really going to be a great event, Katie. Do you know where the hotel is that we're holding the event? And are you going to be coming right from work? Or are you going to be going home and taking a shower and then showing up? Or are you going to be going home and having dinner with the family and then showing up? Because see, what happens is that when you just simply ask people the question, you say, would you show up? A lot of them, they might say, yeah, just thinking that you're going to leave them alone. Then they're going to think that they gave you the answer that you wanted to hear, but they really aren't going to show up. They're going to get home. They're going to start making dinner. They're going to sit down on the couch, turn on, The Price is Right, or, the Wheel of Fortune and Judge Wapner or something like that. And all of a sudden, I don't even know those shows are on the air anymore, but if all of a sudden they get home, their commitment level goes down. They're not going to put their shoes back on, throw their coat on, come out to an event because they're home. So what you have to do is you have to kind of make it seem more important. Raise the level of importance by asking the questions. Hey, Katie, do you know where the hotel is? Great. Do you need me to give you the address just in case? You know what I'd like to do is I'd really like to meet with you 15 minutes before the meeting. There's a group of us that are going to be meeting about 15 minutes before in the lobby. And so I'd like to have you there. And so, could you come there? So what time do you get home from work? You see how by asking people these questions and getting them to commit a little bit further, now all of a sudden it raises their level of commitment. Eric Worre says that you're gonna raise their level of commitment by 90%.
Yep, by asking him quite a few questions and getting commitment, like what time are you going to get home? Do you know the address? How are you going to get there in terms of your route, which way you're going to drive. Do you need a lift? That's a good one too. Like we used to do that at the past events. We used to carpool, and you go and pick people up. And if you pick someone up, their likelihood of attending is much higher too.
Oh yeah, if you're knocking at their door, what are they going to do? Hide from you?
Yeah, they could.
Yeah, they might do that too. They might, and then I see you get, I'm going to call you up, and they're going to say, oh yeah, I'm not home. And I said, really? I can see you sitting on your couch. You wouldn't do that, would you, Katie?
No, I'd be there.
No, but I just took notes. I wrote notes down today while I was watching these videos. You really got to make it so that they know that your level of commitment is very high, very high. And Eric Worre says that back when he first started getting into network marketing, into the industry, they used to have contests, and they'd have little contests between. They used to have contests between themselves, who could get more people. And he said at one event, he had 120 guests.
Wow.
120. I mean, that sets the bar that much higher for me. I've never had 120.
That's great. I'd love to see you have 120 guests. That'd be awesome, Kurt.
I had 20 guests at one event, and I thought I was doing pretty good. But he had 120, and I was listening to that going, I've never done that. I could do that. It makes you think.
Wow.
You go, I'm competitive that way. I like it. I like that competition. The other thing that you can do with people is you can use the phrase, hey, Katie, would you do me a favor?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you really love me, if you love my family, you're going to show up at this event.
Right.
And it's.
Who are you saying that to, though?
Who are you saying that to? I'd say, really, you could say it to anybody. I used to say it to my patients. I'd say, do you enjoy the care that you're getting here at the clinic? Yeah. And I'd say, when I get you fixed up, I'm going to have to replace you with another patient. I said, if you love me, you'd replace yourself for me.
Oh, wow.
And I'll tell you,
referral.
I used to get a ton of referrals. I had the busiest clinic in town. I used to, when the average chiropractic clinic would get 20 new patients a month, I was seeing 150 new patients a month.
Oh, because you employed that technique every time.
I did a lot of different stuff. If you would have seen the different things that I do, a lot of people, they say, oh, you're a doctor. That's why you're pretty good at network marketing. It's really not because of doctors. It's really because I ran a successful clinic up here for over 20 years. I've never had a job. I've never worked for anybody else ever in my adult life. Sure, when I was a kid, I did different things. I worked on farms and things like that. But as an adult, I've never had a job. I've never gotten a paycheck from anybody else. And, so I used to practice some of this stuff. So, when I look at these notes that I took, the different things that Eric talked about. When you do a home meeting, I know you guys do a lot of home events and little city events, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And I think you were saying earlier, you might ask people just to kind of get that commitment. You might say, hey, Helene, would you bring the ice?
Yeah, I've done it before. And actually it was the event that I had the most people at, was when I called each person and said, could you bring this? Could you do this? Could you be in charge of doing this? Could you help with, the chairs? Could you help with the banner? And asking them, to come along and with a specific task definitely increases the numbers.
Yeah, because now they feel like they can't back out. Oh, Katie's counting on me to bring the chips.
Yeah, right.
Katie's counting on me to bring the salad or whatever. And what happens is all of a sudden you have kind of a fun little event too, because everybody feels like they're part of it.
Yeah, that's right. They're participating. And so you get that participation, you get that commitment from them. And, demonstrate that you have some commitment, different things like when you have an event, make sure that you tell people, you say, hey, Katie, I'm going to this event on Friday over in Melbourne. Are you going to be there? And you point out that you're going to be there, because now you're kind of like almost pushing them to feel a little bit guilty about, well, I was kind of thinking about it.
right? And then they say, yeah, I'm going to go. And then you say, I'm bringing 5 guests. You know, and you're going to say, hey, Michael, how many guests are you bringing? Right? And or Bob, how many guests are you bringing? Things like that. And you just get them to have that level of a commitment, and you know, and just you want to make sure that they know it's not just talk. You know, you don't want to just be talk, that you're committed. This is what you're going to do. Get fired up. I mean, man, I'll tell you what. End of last year, I started kind of seeing this stuff happening with anti-aging, like you heard me talking about, where I really felt like, you know, momentum to me, when I learned about the word momentum, I learned that it was when you can't go anywhere without hearing somebody talking about what you're doing.
Right.
I mean, every day you're going to hear somebody talking about it, even if you don't bring it up. And I used to remember a friend of mine, John. He's made several million in network marketing. He actually was in network marketing with Eric Worre. He got started at the same time. Him and Eric got started at the same time. He was actually one of Eric's proteges. And John would tell me, he said, momentum is if you go to the shopping mall, if you go to that shopping mall there in Melbourne, and you get a couple of your friends and you stand around, you just stare up at the ceiling. And you get enough people that stand there and stare up at the ceiling, and people would walk by, and everybody's going to have to at least look up and see, what are they looking at? Mm-hmm. Right? That's momentum.
Right.
That's momentum. And that's where I really feel that anti-aging, regenerative medicine, that's where I feel that Sisel fits in there. When I first got started with Sisel, the first product that I really looked at was TSX.
Same. Mm-hmm.
That was the same product for you?
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I just found out about TA65, which is, I mean, my opinion, I'm not their scientist. I can't make any judgment claim, but in my opinion, Sisel has a product that's like 30 times more powerful than that product, without listing that name again. But I just been at a anti-aging seminar, and I just found out about that product. And all of a sudden I'm looking at this one, I'm going, holy cow, this is so much more powerful than that.
Yeah.
For a third of the price.
Yeah, it's a fantastic product.
For a third of the price. And so
I was just going to say something, you know, you talk about anti-aging, you know, and the momentum there, but, you know, I think Tom's talked about it quite a bit in the last few calls. And I'm going to be sharing his call on Monday. He's been talking about it just a day or so ago. But, you know, a real concern is artificial intelligence and robotics, that there's going to just be a massive shift in the jobs in the next 10 years. And as Tom says, you've got about 10 years to get your stuff together, because a lot of the jobs just won't exist anymore in 10 years. They'll start to be taken over by robotics and AI. So, you know, artificial intelligence, they've developed computers now that are so smart, they actually self-teach. They continue to learn by themselves. You know, obviously they need human intervention to make sure they're running and they've got electricity, but they're smart enough to self-learn. So this is a concern. And it was actually Stephen Hawking who was saying that before he died, that his main concern for the human race was where AI was going to go. You know, that technology is advancing so quickly. So we want to make sure that you know, this is why I think also Sisel's a great business opportunity, because you want to get into a business and be generating some income so that, you know, if you lose your day job or your part-time job, you've still got that income coming in, you know, and he's even talking about a lot of the degrees that people are doing at university now won't result in any, you know, real payable work in the future because they'll become obsolete. So we want to be thinking about, how do we future-proof ourselves? How do we future-proof our health, and how do we future-proof our finances? And I was talking to a friend last night, and he pulled up a study, and health and finances, you know, are so tightly linked that, you know, people who are on the lower income or, you know, suffering quite a lot because they're not earning enough are actually more likely to get sick, more likely to get cancer, have higher incidence of cancer. So you can't really pull the two apart. They're so closely, you know, joined that you really, if you want to look after your health, you want to look after your finances as well.
That's right. Yeah, Tom talked about it a lot on that call that we had. What was it, 3 weeks ago now, the call right before Christmas.
Yep.
Yeah. What was on the 20th, I think, of December. So it's so important that we learn this and we pass it on. And I think, like Eric Warrior, again, this is, kind of off my notes that I took, he said, having that verbal commercial, if we're all saying that, if we're all if Katie's repeating the same thing that I'm repeating, we're not saying in the exact same words, but repeating the same thing that, look, artificial intelligence is here. I mean, these computers can repair themselves. They can teach themselves. They don't even need us to teach them anymore. They can program that. They can reprogram themselves. They can learn. I went in and I got here in the United States, our security, if you've been to the United States lately and you go through the security at the airport, I mean, they make you take your shoes off. They make you take your belt off. Everything has to come out of your backpack, out of your suitcase. I mean, you pretty much got to go in there and strip down for them so that they can make sure you're not, one of the, bomber or somebody. But so they have what's called TSA pre-check, where you've gone through the work. You've let the government kind of do a background check on you. I went and did that the other day because I fly around enough that I hate standing in those lines. And by doing the PSA pre-check, they did a facial recognition on me.
Oh, wow.
They did a retinal recognition on me.
Oh my God.
Fingerprints, all 48 of my fingers, my 2 thumbs. I mean, I'm in their system.
Oh, wow. So that means you can just pass straight through now.
I can just walk right in. My son was telling me, he said that he did it. And he said to go through security now, they got a special line for you if you're TSA pre-check. It takes 5 minutes. Just boom, you walk right in.
Wow. Yeah. It's making me think all those movies. There's a movie called with Arnold Schwarzenegger about it's called something about Mars. I can't remember, but they had those sort of things showing those technologies in the movie, where they'd scan the eyes and they'd do a facial recognition and they could check and they know the identity of you before you've even walked up to check in. They know exactly who you are.
And that's how I think this TSA pre-check is going to go, is that when you walk in the door of the airport, they already go, oh, Kurt Visnick is here. And beyond that, my friend Billy was telling me that they can take an airplane and they could be flying over Melbourne, for example, and they could shoot a photo of the city street, and the computer in seconds will know who all those people are.
Yeah.
Right. And so, we're kind of getting off track, but the thing about it is that this AI technology is taking over for everything. I mean, pretty soon they're not going to need to have those jobs at the airport because the computer's going to do it. And all these things, and like Katie was saying, the vision, just think about the vision of it, that are you going to be ready for 10 years from now? Or are you going to be that guy that's going to be going, oh, crap, I didn't really think it was going to happen.
Definitely.
And now you're the one standing in line collecting the minimal government paycheck that pays for you to eat bread and cheese and commodities rather than being able to afford steak and lobster.
Yeah, that'll get even lower. I was talking to Sandy and she was saying, she's thinking about her job because she's a hairdresser. She said it won't be long before that's automated too. You'll just stick your head in a thing and it'll cut your hair for you and ittle be robotics doing it.
I already do that. How do you like my haircut?
Yeah, it looks good. So, a lot of jobs, even especially with even taxi drivers, truck drivers, automated cars are coming. They're driverless cars. They do not require a driver and they're already making them now. So they will slowly, come onto the roads and then you won't need to drive a vehicle anymore. So all those jobs gone. So they're all going to go, and people, I think, need to be aware of it. Helene's made a really interesting comment here. She said, that's right, Katie, people line up in the Tats Lotto shop praying for the winning ticket. It's the only way they know. It's what they know. Our role is to show them how they can create extra income with Sisel and health. Because people say, oh, well, they don't want an opportunity. Well, if you don't want an opportunity, as Helene says, why go and buy a Tats Lotto ticket? You want the opportunity to win.
Right. Yeah. And how many people actually win? I mean, your chances of getting hit by lightning are probably greater than winning at that lottery, Yep. But, so yeah, exactly. I mean, people are doing that all the time. I have people that tell me, oh, I don't have enough money. Well, I'll tell you what, this is a big enough opportunity. You better go get the money. You better go get the money. I had a guy who he didn't have the money to sign up. And I said, what do you got that you could sell, that you could pawn off, that you could come up with the money to get started right now? And he went and pawned off a antique pool cue collection that he had. That's how serious he was. And he's making a go at it.
Fantastic.
He's making a go of it. And is he committed? Yeah. He wants to make his money back so he can buy his pool cues back from the pawn shop. Right? I mean, that's the level of commitment that if you're inviting somebody to join and they get so committed that they will go do something like that. I mean, up here in the States, a lot of people go out to eat. They don't eat at home. And I just tell people, just stay home a couple weekends. Don't go to that football game. Don't go to the lake in the summer, just one day. And you're going to have enough money to do what you're doing here. And this pays you. How much does going to that football game pay you? Zero. And yeah, Helene was saying $250,000 to run her anti-aging hair and beauty salon. And people are spending that kind of money. So it was a profitable business for her. I'm guessing it was. And you want to create kind of that we and they type of a situation. We're doing this, they're doing that. The inclusion, exclusion. You want to get people to feel like I want to be included in what you're doing. We're doing this. Everybody's doing this. How come you're not? And get that. I mean, things like that. You could tell stories about people who went to an event. Like you were saying, you went to an event that had Tom and Held down there, and they brought so many guests, and boom, they were one of the top earners in the company by doing that. Yeah. If you consistently have one person at each event, I mean, I'll be in Brisbane, and I'll be in Sydney, I'll be in Auckland, I'll be in Adelaide, I'll be over in Perth, I'll be in Melbourne. So I'm going to be in 6 different cities. What if you just said, I'm going to have one guest at each of those events?
Yeah, that's amazing. Even that in itself would be fantastic.
One guest at each event. I mean, how many people are you going to have to invite to get one guest? Well, for some people, if your credibility is way down here, you might have to invite 20 people to get one to show up at each event. So you might have to total invite 120 people, but is it worth it?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, you just need to start thinking about the future, like 10 years from now. Like you think, oh, it's a long way away. It's not, it's not a long way away. 10 years is going to go by like that in the blink of an eye. It's 10 years later. I mean, if you think back 10 years ago in the blink of an eye, it's gone past. So I think, yeah, it's time to take action and do everything that we can. That's right.
I mean, it was, I remember like in Eric Waring, that little 4-minute video that he talked about. I mean, I remember when I first got introduced to network marketing, and I was like, nah, it's not for me, it's not for me. And now I look back at it and I go, I wish I would have done it. Right. And have you ever heard the saying, feel, felt, found?
Yep. We use that all the time previously building a business. I feel this, I found this. Yeah. I know how you feel. I felt the same way. Right. Yeah. I mean, I know how you feel. I was totally against network marketing when I first heard about it. And I really was. I mean, I mean, when I saw that friend of mine, when I saw Brian, my friend Brian, I mean, I remember exactly. He came in my clinic. He said, hey, Kurt, would you come to an event with me? And I said, no, I'm too busy. And if he would have been a little bit more committed to get me to go, I probably would have gone with him, and I might have gotten started, but he didn't. Right. Yes.
And so because of his level of commitment, and Brian, if you're watching this, I'm just telling you, but if I would have gone, so I know how you feel, because this is how I felt. And now I look back out and I found out that I wish I would have done it. Because instead of sitting here and just kind of being a newbie to it now at the age of 57, maybe I'd be one of the top money earners. Maybe I'd be one of those, Eric Worre's or Dexter Yeagers of the world, making $100 million a month, right? I mean, there's people making that kind of money. I mean, for you guys that are guests that are listening to this, I mean, there's some serious money. Network marketing is probably one of the easiest ways. It's probably created more millionaires than any other industry.
I mean, it's amazing. And it's like Helene said in her note here, she said, it cost her $250,000 to run her anti-aging, a beauty salon, and that it, only cost $500 with no overheads to get started, and you have the same opportunity with Sisel.
That's right. Yeah, and you can get started. I mean, like if you go back to the video that I made 2 weeks ago, I mean, if you want to dip your toes into it and you don't want to jump all in, you don't want to buy that new weight loss Wealth Builder pack. What a great pack, by the way, huh? And
awesome. Those products, each of them are just fantastic. Like, it's amazing.
Yeah, and so let's just say that you go, nah, I don't want to do that. I've never done it before. I don't know if I can be very good at it. I'm not very good at talking to people. I don't know that many people. Blah 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 blah. All excuses are equal to macaroni and cheese is burning, whatever you want to say. But bottom line is that no matter what your excuse is, let's get started just with 50 then. Buy one product. Yep. Buy the age pill. Commit yourself that you're going to take it for 90 days. And commit yourself that you're going to go out and you're going to have a goal of finding 3 people. I'll use my other hand because I can't bend that finger. So it looks like 2, right? 3. And so you're going to find 3 people that you're going to get involved. And you're going to teach them to go out and find 3 people that are going to get involved. And, like I talked about 2 weeks ago on the call, if you get 3 people, if you're buying, less than $100 worth of product, 1 or 2 products, and you go out and you get 3 people to do the exact same thing and they train them to do the same thing and you teach them to do the same thing. You got 3 levels of everybody finding 3. You're making enough money that your products are free.
Yep. Fantastic.
And I think you're going to find that if you're making enough money that the product is free and you continue to take it, I think that you're going to have some kind of health results. You're going to have your own story that now you can go out and share with people. And you can really honestly tell them that, look, I followed the plan that I learned online when I was working with Kurt and Katie, that I found a plan that it didn't cost me anything. And now all of a sudden I'm making extra. I mean, what if you're only making $100 a month, Katie? What if you're making enough to pay for your product and you're making an extra $100 a month? That's $1,200 a year.
That's fantastic. That in itself is fantastic. I mean, you go and buy your products from the department store. They don't offer this sort of incentive. You can't get your products for free. You have to keep forking out that money each month and you don't get anything back for it. Nothing. And this way, you can create an income at the same time as changing lives, making a difference. I mean, why are we here? We're here to make a difference, to reach as many people as possible and improve their lives. And, health and money are both important. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, you can probably tell it my voice. I'm super excited about what's going on. I mean, I see a bigger picture, Yeah. I really have. My vision is just in the last couple months, really since I went to London and Paris back in October, Katie, that's when something happened. I don't know what it was. I think I hit my head. But anyhow, all of a sudden, my vision, it went kind of blurry. I was kind of blurry-eyed for a couple of weeks. I don't know what it's from. Maybe it's from, I don't know. But
I thought you were going to say your vision expanded.
Well, it went blurry first.
Oh. Okay. Well, talking about expansion, Tom Senior, I think it was Trevor that was saying that. So with his manufacturing facility, the last I heard, and there might be an update to this, there's 3 slabs you know, that have been built on, and there's of a 7-stage build, and they've already poured the concrete for the additional slabs to build the infrastructure to expand the manufacturing facility. So Tom Senior and Tom Junior's vision and the whole Mauer family is massive. Like, they're going one way, and that's up and out. And so, you know, having that
he already bought property on the other side of the interstate. He was showing it to me. He's got this property, just hundreds of acres of land. And he was showing me the vision of what he's got in his head. And he's already had a architecture model made of what the Sisel manufacturing and the warehouse. I mean, what we're using right now, it'll fit in one corner of what we have then.
It's incredible. So momentum, growth, it's all happening. It's the year 2020.
That's right. And with the new products that we have coming up, I mean, I'll tell you, I know some of the science behind the product that I'm going to be bringing with me when I come down there. I don't know how much I'm going to bring, Katie. So I got to kind of figure out, is it going to be really available, or is it going to be, I'm going to have like 1 bottle, 2 bottles, 10 bottles? I don't know. I'm going to bring some with me. And I'm probably going to have a contest of some kind.
Okay, fantastic. Wow.
Yeah, and you'll have to be at the event to even be included.
Okay, great.
You know? So that's the kind of things that we're going to do. I'm super excited about it. I think it's going to be some great events. I've really enjoyed the events that we've had down there. You know, for all of you that have helped put this on in the last 2 years and made sure that we had people there, made sure that we had, you know, the projector and the screens and you know, all these different things. Thank you. And I know it's going to be another great event this year. Every one of the events is just going to go smoothly, and you know what Sandy's doing, and Margaret and Dennis and yourself, and you know, we got Helene putting on a little event up there now, and what's going on over in Perth, and with Gert kind of putting things together over in Auckland. Yep,
fantastic.
Super fantastic. And Katie, where can people get the scheduled events?
Yeah, so I've actually put it on Facebook, but what I'll do, Kurt, is I'll create a page on your site, the Sisel World Team website, and I'll create a page with the event schedule there, and I'll drop all the events there if people wanted to see it as well.
Perfect. And then on the Facebook page, you know, we'll continue. I know, Katie, you've been plastering it all over the 2-3 Facebook pages that you got. I'll plaster it on the 2-3 Facebook pages that I got, in addition to my personal page. And, you know,
YouTube too. We'll put it on YouTube too, and we'll put it in the comments on YouTube. We're just going to keep getting it out there so people know, because, you know, that's the thing too with promotion. You think, oh, well, I've already sent it to everyone. No, because there's so many different ways. You know, sometimes some people are on Facebook, but they're not on YouTube, or they use YouTube and they don't use Facebook, or, you know, they're busy this whole week and then they miss all the messages, but then they see the one on Saturday. So, you know, by continually promoting the event, eventually the messages, you know, that will get through and reach, you know, a much greater number of people.
That's right. And you just think about it, you know, Katie, like if you go to an event by yourself, I know it's probably happened to you or other people that, you know, you show up and you go, oh man, this was so good. I wish I would have brought, you know, 10 people with me. And so I'm telling you, that's what you want to think before you go to the event is don't leave and go, oh, I wish I would have brought someone. What you want to do is, if you go by yourself, you've got the power of one person. But if you go there and there's 5 of you, if it's you and 4 guests, now you got 5. And you can talk about it. You're going to talk about what you heard. You know the 4 guests that you bring, they're going to be asking you, hey, Katie, do those products really work the way that you said they do? Does it really do that kind of thing that Kurt was talking about? And now all of a sudden you get that, you know, that talking again, and that creates that story. And then for those of you that are listening and you're down in Australia or New Zealand, I'm looking for people at each event to get up and give not just a product story, but I want to have some business stories too. I mean, even if you made $10, I'd like you to share that, because it shows this is real. Because most people don't get started and all of a sudden they have $1,000 check in their mailbox. They get started and they start out and they get a $1 check, and then they get a $5 check, and then they, you know, and they work themselves up to where they're considered successful. So anyhow, folks, thanks for being here. On the Facebook page, if you're listening there, give us a thumbs up, give us the old smiley face, comment, share it. And Katie, I'll let you close out the call. Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Kurt. Thanks everyone for joining us. Appreciate you getting on the call today. I hope you got value out of that. And we look forward to seeing you at the events around Australia and in New Zealand. So have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye. Have a good weekend.
Bye.